Sure, I mean it's just going out there and practicing. I mean it's football. You're gonna lose sometimes, and it's just how you deal with adversity. So it's just getting up every day and just just doing what you do. You got a job to do. So as long as you're doing your job, you're doing your part.
Who on the other side of the ball is giving you the biggest fight?
Can you repeat that for me? I'm sorry.
Who on the other side of the ball is giving you the biggest battles between you and on the other side?
Are you talking about like our offense?
Practice. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, let's see. I mean, really, any of our slot receivers. That's usually who I'm covering. So our slot receivers are our tight ends. I mean, if I had to say one, Miles Price, I like going against him. And then as far as tight ends, um, really all of them. I mean, they all bring it to the table. So really, between the slot receivers and tight ends is kind of who I like to battle with.
Go to Brady King.
Hey Thomas, first off, what do you know about Baylor's offense and receivers, and how is your defense preparing?
Right. So Baylor, they got a real experienced team. I mean, they got their quarterback coming back in. He's a real great player. I mean, they lost Mims last year, but other than that, they still have a really solid receiving core, and those guys have chemistry. So, from an offensive standpoint, I mean, they like to move the ball around. They like to pass the ball and whatnot, and they have a real solid run game. So that's what I see from them so far.
In what ways has your game improved since the beginning of this season, do you think?
I'm just trying to take it more to like a mental aspect. Every time I watch a game or sit down and watch film, I kind of look at it from more of a mental thing. Just repetition each play. So from getting into a stance to the same like walkout and things like that. So I just try to make sure that I'm taking the same reps each play and that I'm not getting rushed because this or that. I'm doing the same thing every play.
Go to Eric Kelly.
Hey Thomas, from Oklahoma to TCU, you guys made that big improvement in that sudden change area where you were able to limit the Horned Frogs when they started drives inside the 40. What changed in terms of what allowed you guys to have a little more success in that area last week?
Right. So I think it was our defensive mentality. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, and whether the ball's there or wherever it starts, I mean, we have to have the same mentality every time we start out on the field, whether it's they're all the way on their 1 yard line coming 100 yards, or they're on our 1 yard line knocking on the end zone. So it's just every time we step on the field, we need to have the same mentality, and I think that's what we changed.
A guy you play with in the secondary, Zach McPherson, he seems to come up with every loose ball that's around there. When you're in a groove like that, is it just like the ball just happens to find you every single time, or is it just the positions he puts himself in?
I mean, he's a ball magnet. That's just what it is. I mean, we really don't know how he comes up with some of the stuff, but I mean, he's a great player, and I mean, he's always around the ball, so that helps him out a lot.
And then you kind of made your name, especially early in special teams, early on in your career. Where do you think you guys need to improve, just from what you've seen in that area? I know you guys gave up a couple big punt returns against TCU. Blocks have been an issue. Is it just maybe taking a little more pride in that area for some of the guys, or what is it?
Right. I just think, yeah, guys got to be hungry. And, with me and like you said earlier in my career, I took a lot of pride in special teams because that was my one time to get on the field. And even now, I still take pride into it because, I mean, that's what got me to where I am today is just, special teams playing hard. So I think special teams is nothing but effort.
Go to Don.
Thomas, the way last year's game ended with that controversial call that I guess they later acknowledged was incorrect, how much, if any, has that come up among you guys this week?
I mean, we haven't really talked about it. I mean, we all know what happened last year, and I mean, it's kind of in the past. It was a close game, and I think from then it's put more of an emphasis on close games for us as a team. So I mean, we don't really talk about it as players, but I mean, we're just gonna go out there and handle business the way we know we can.
No. I was going to ask you also, you're a senior, but of course the NCAA saying that eligibility doesn't count against anybody this year, so you have the option of returning. How much thought have you given to that? Do you have any sense for whether you want to be here again next year?
Right. I put a lot of thought into it, and I'm still, talking with my family and coaches and all that stuff. Because it's a big part of my future, and I want to make sure I make the right decision. So I'm still pondering it, and I'll let y'all know soon.
We have anything else for Thomas or Eric Kelly? And then we'll go to Brady right after that.
Thomas, defensively, when they have a guy like Tristan Ebner who can kind of kill you out of the backfield through the air, you guys faced a guy like that with Deuce for Kansas State. What extra element of difficulty does that add when you have a guy who, even though he lines up in the backfield, is just as lethal a threat as any wide receiver they have?
Right. So to me, it's almost like having a running quarterback back there. It's just another threat you have to account for. A guy coming out the backfield. So that'll definitely be something we'll have to take into mindset going into the game. Keeping an eye on him when he's in the backfield, knowing his ability to run routes as well. So it's just like I said, another thing we have to scout for and look for on the field.
Go to Brady.
Thomas, as a senior, you guys have 3 conference games. You kind of touched.
Hey Brady, you're cutting out. We can barely hear you.
Been any conversation in the locker room among the seniors or upperclassmen about just motivating the guy to finish this season strong?
Right. So, I told him it's all about finishing, and that's what it's about. Shoot, you went out the last 3 games. People are gonna know what was going on throughout the season, but we're gonna leave y'all with 3 wins, and that's our plan. It's all about finishing around here, and that's what we want to do. And as a defense, offense, special teams, whatever it is, we want to put our best foot forward. So I'm always trying to motivate the guys. Let's just finish out and continue to play. And I don't think anybody's laid down yet or put their head down. We're still pushing each and every single week, and I hope we continue to do that for these last 3 games.
I would say working harder in practice, like making more of an emphasis on making those plays in a sudden change situation.
Go to Don.
Krishan, you mentioned a moment ago that you feel like you've gotten better in learning the scheme, learning the plays. Is this system more complex than what you came from, or is it similar, or is it relatively simple?
I would say it's a little more complex than where I came from. More plays to learn.
And how have you gone about trying to pick it up, so to speak, as the season has gone along, in terms of learning over your assignments?
I would say paying attention more in meetings, spending extra time outside of meetings, looking over the plays and everything.
What, you do that on your own, or with other linebackers, or with Coach Cosgrove, or what?
Sometimes all 3 of those.
All 3, yeah.
Yeah.
What was last week like, considering all the defensive linemen that you had out?
I'm sorry,
For the linebackers.
Can you ask that question again?
What was last week like with all the defensive linemen that you guys had out, adjusting to the new guys up front, in front of you, and kind of fitting off guys that maybe you weren't used to fitting off of this season?
We just added an extra linebacker and took out a lineman, so it's like it was the same gaps, just different personnel playing.
Have any other questions for Krishan? I'll go back to Don.
What about, what's Baylor's offense look like to you in terms of in terms of what you kind of expect for how they will attack you, or how they're attacking teams recently?
I feel like they're gonna attack more through the air, outside routes.
It was pretty exciting. Like, it was a big moment, obviously, for me since I haven't scored yet. So it was a big moment. I was very excited.
Where do you think you are in your development in terms of what you want to be as a tight end?
I think my blocking has improved a lot since last year, but I could be a lot better in the receiving game.
And then where do you think the defense really needs to, or the offense, sorry, really needs to take a step forward in terms of being more consistent? Because it seems like the past couple games you have one good half, one bad half. How do you turn it into 60 minutes of good football?
We just have to convert when we need to, honestly, because we have a lot of like mental errors out there, so that's hurting us right now. So if we get rid of those, we'll be a lot more explosive.
Go to Brandon Solis.
Hey Travis, how have you seen Henry Colombi kind of take control once he was named the starter, and how have you kind of seen him progress through your eyes?
He's a good player. He's a good player. He's been making a lot of good plays, like with his feet and through the air. So he just keeps getting better in my eyes.
And John Holcomb, a young guy, I know you're a veteran kind of guy. What has he kind of done to take that next step of being a young freshman on the field?
He's a good player. He's developed well, like more than most freshmen, I'd say. I think he'll be a good player in the future.
We have anything else for Travis? We'll go to Don.
Hey, Travis, what would you say, now that you've been here for quite some time, what would you say the primary role for you and the tight ends in general is in this offense?
I would say more as a blocker, honestly, right now, just because how everything's working out. We're running the ball pretty well right now, and they run it right behind us, so I'd say as a key blocker.
Yeah. And if I understand correctly, did you say you felt like that's an area where you've progressed this year?
Sorry, what was that? You kind of cut out.
Did you say that's an area where you feel like you've gotten better this year?
Oh, yeah, yes, sir, yeah.
How can you elaborate on that a little bit? In what way and kind of how you've gone about it?
I gained like 18 pounds since last year, so I just feel a lot more dominant out there than I was the year before.
Yeah. How has your, I remember at some point this year, I don't remember exactly when, but either Coach Yost or Coach Wells mentioned working to improve your route running. How is that coming along?
I feel like I improved in that area as well. I just had to work on sticking in and out of my breaks and stuff, and I feel like I got a lot better. So